We're going to see now Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach Maseches Taanith Daf Yud Ches Amud Aleph. Zog the Gemara. You have to either appear be Bil B'Shem Be'Peduye. Neymar Somach HaKosel Pashas Nozem Sis Kapayim and Lamducho B'Shem Shan Nozer Ose B'Yayim and Sis Kapayim Asura B'Yayim. Yivrech Hashem Shmerecha comes right after Pashas Nozer in Pashas Nosai. To teach you that it's Hekish, it's Osir B'Yayim. Imai Nozer Osir B'Chatzana B'Zagim. And we're asked if so, maybe the Siskapayim is even also to eat the pits and the peels. You know, as Paul Yeshia Bar Gezura, gaat je af van mijn oz, gaat je af van naar Sheres. And the shows say Bavar B'Shmoy, just like Sheres is also B'Yayim. The other man, Yalav Dom, and that no man knows me off from Sheres. You learned out from Sheres, just like Sheres is also to do when you're drunk. Same as Birkat Nefsis Kapayim. Man Yosman Man Nozer is a question. Man Nozer also sieht Chatzan, Bezug Abschlussbein, was was anderes. And von der Sheres, immer Sheres also bei der Mumen. Und es ist Kapayim also bei der Mumen. Und dann das be a Mutter. So it's a question according to both shittahs that something, if you learn out from the Kapayim, from Avoida or from Nozer, there's something that needs to be asked here. That could be asked. A good question. Kada, where do you know that Dash Be'ira is mitzvah by Nesis Kapayim? Rav Tali has Etzbei Akumen. He had crooked fingers. Also, when it came to Dash Be'ircha mutter. Everybody knows about it. If Huna Maver Zaldikin, he didn't allow somebody who doesn't have a beard. Didn't allow such a person to be Nesis Kapayim. So Dash Be'ira mutter. My mana Rigla have a sagm. The person had very small feet also. I remember the cotton is a scap. Oh, yes, there's some errors. Also, it says the reason of a balmum that's not Dash B'Iroi is because you might look at him. I swear that it doesn't bother me. This was just but the Ikar din is that's the reason why it's also because Chamoyer is scared that you're gonna look at the Kohen. You look at him b'shas and sees kapayim. It's also to look at his face. Now sees kapayim. Because the Baruch Yisrael at kam b'shas b'musaf v'yisahan is yada umay varchim. So you see, and sees kapayim is also by musaf. Now this is a smachta because the truth is we only do it b'shachas and musaf because this man shikras. But he brings in a smachta that's not by musaf because that story was by musaf. That pasuk in Shmini is upside down. It says it's just the opposite. We finished making the korbanos, Shmini, and then made his kapayim. While he wants to say that he did it while he was walking down. Interesting drasha. It says Vayevarchim. How did he bench them? Bamid. Stand. You should have learned. Kibam bach Hashem shas bach Hashem max bach l'shei. Vash is bamid. A burger bamid. Geen omer. Ve'kum kahan mevarchim. You see that the burger kahan must be bamid. There is a chizkir game that there causes them dab. There is a chreinim she'oig v'tzara. That pasuk Divrei Yomim is talking about Chizkiah. Later on, Hashem says, "No, I'm not going to accept your brachas." Vayevarchem brachas tumah. Which one? Isa kahanim. It says in pasuk Vayevarchem. Ve'isa hanas yada v'lam vayevarchem. says Kois Baruch Hu Yirach Hashem Yishmerecha, so it means this bracha that says in later on in the parsha. That's Vayisa. This is in Parsha Shmini. This is Parshas Nosai. Umenayim Le'ila. Where do we see the union of Tfilas Ne'ila? We had in the Mishnah that there was four Tfilas. There was Shachris, Musaf, Mincha, Ne'ila. By the days of fasting. By the days of fasting, there was Tzis Kapayim by every Tfilah, and one of them is Ne'ila. Musaf, we said already, is a Tzarchian. If Musaf means every. It's some say that there was a special tefillah, that extra tefillah. The Rambam says that, but it's Chiddush. Doesn't say in Yerushalmi. It's not clear. So where do we know that there's tefillah ne'ilah that was by every davening, by every taanith there was ne'ilah? It's a raya that it's an inyan to be married with tefillah. Ma'achav when she thought to the Reb Levi, Taman Reb Abba Breda, Shir the Sichna Reb Levi. Machel v'shitose der Ablevi. Tam Reb Abba Breda Reb Abba Shim Shech Shem Ablevi. Chol etzav iya moise. V'az v'sayim achla machse. Chan aylish riba b'tfila kitzra v'yam shel Shmuel. She'amru v'yashav sham ad oilam. V'lei in oilam elal shel Levi elal chamish mishana. Chsiv min chamish mishana. Yashav mitzvah avoida. V'chai deloin chamish metayta. That means because there's 50 years as oilam, and then 2 years till she brought him up, because till she started nursing him. She stopped nursing him. So Ichana said ad oilam. She asked only for 50 years. That's why he only lived 52. So we see from him that it's not good to daven a lot. The koyam that it's a good thing to be marach. There he says that it's not good to be marach. So the answer is, but tzibur, it's not good. Kam b'yochad kam b'tzibur. And I guess the story from Chana was b'tzibur. That's what it seems. Then it's not good to be marach. Abchiyah b'shem ab'yechanam, v'shlokish b'shem b'chalafta b'shem ab'meir. Boyki Hirbisa is Palm Kashko. He says the opposite. You learn out from there that Chana was Nana because she davened a lot. Ad aim sign in Ila. Till when is the time of Neila? You have to daven every time there's another tefillah Neila. One of the kisses Omer Mispalm Be'av Yechan Av Omer Ben Ida Shah Shemayim. It means when the gates of Shemayim close. What does it mean by at night? Yechan Omer. So when is it Tfilas Ne'ilah? When is it? It's during the day or it's night? Interesting machlekes. Doesn't say clearly when do you daven this tefillah. It says Bayoim has to be during the day. Can't it's even stronger. Yet you're not allowed to even. First of all, the Mishnah says Bayoim, but even if you say that's Lavdavke, but you cannot make Tzis Kapayim Balayla. So if it says to make Tzis Kapayim Balayla, it must be it during the day. Achua the image of Ada have a tsire gulse der Ab Tzemra. He folded up the coat, the talus of Rav. In Tzemra Rav means in Kippur. And Rav said for this uncle of Rav Ada, Tatich Meshum Sheberesh Dikle at Yov the gulse the Nitzling Shar. You see the sun is hitting the top of the palm tree, then I give me my talus. This story, it means during when the sun is still shining. Before he said it's that Ne'ila's Rav said Ne'ila's Shar Shemaim means at night. So why did he ask for talus during the day? So the Gemara and for the Gemara Tanya either they have a marach. It ended up that he finished the Ila was already at night. Now the Gemara has a question. If you daven the Ila, if it's pater is tefillas arbis, it's an interesting shaila. Because if you know tefillas arbis for shus, so maybe if somebody davens the Ila, especially if you daven it at night, according to Rav, maybe you don't have to daven Ma'ariv anymore. maybe much you Yom Kippur, you don't have to daven ma'ariv. You just daven ne'ilah. Bar of Ina b'shem Rav, ne'ilah b'te'er shel erev. Because she tells you that you daven at night, so it could pater tefillas arvis. Omer bola v'una v'eichli maskin of dola. But where do you say, you have to say I'm Abdul by Matzah Yom Kippur. How do you say Abdullah middle of tefillas ne'ilah? You can only say it by Choyin Nados. Omar b'yenu da bar v'eichli Hashem v'patish min esrei. How could seven? If daven 18 brachas ma'ariv, you use only 7 brachas. Amalei loikvai tasvus. It's already anyway ogafrekt. It's this member of Rav. When I begin to ask us to bottle, you think it's Rav is wrong? No, Rav is right. You just need to answer the questions. So I guess he's trying to say that it's not you still can pass like him. You just have to find a good answer. Maybe you should be Masker Abdullah somewhere else. And maybe sometimes 7 could patish Shemona Esrei. Yes, Mad kosher Rabba kosher Yos. Rabba is a good question. The first question is not a question. And there was a question of Rabba, that the question is, how do you say Abdullah? That's a question. But how can 7 parted? That's not a good question. So Yonis asked Rabba, Heichi Sheva Paitu Shemona Esrei. That's not a good question. Rabba's question was a good question. Because it's a kula that you make that 7th pattern. Rabba Mamla Omer Chavrai Mari Kul Chashamash in Ila Ptesha. You can hear from all of you that Ila does not pattern. Simon Mishem Blevi and Ila Ptesha. Yisrael Bintar King Chalil Palam Inchman Esra. Chutzma Tzor Shabbat Tzor Yonte B'Tainis Tzibur. Because you need to say all these things. You need to. So Matzah Shabbos make a Purim you cannot do it because you have to say Havdalah. Taanith Tzibur you can't do it because you need to add a bracha. L'chayre means you need to add a nenu. That's why you cannot. That's why you cannot. You cannot say. It says by tzoy tanas tzibur. It's a mistake. It means tanas tzibur because you cannot add the 7 brachas. Doesn't have that extra. You cannot add something in that in the me'ein sheva. Yitzchak Menachem Hashem B'Yishuv Malev Yom Kippurim Shechali is b'Shabbos. Api she'einu Yidel b'Shabbos. Master Shabbos in Zalacha L'Maisa. Even though you don't daven Shabbos Ne'ilah, but Yom Kippur you mention the Mekadosh Shabbos Ben Ne'ilah. Shabbos same similar thing. Api she'ein Musa b'Chanukah. Master Shechanukah b'Musa. You still mention Chanukah and Musa. You say Al Nisan. Oyis ben Allah for Shchodesh Chodesh B'Tainas. Api she'ein Ne'ilah b'Shchodesh. Master Shchodesh Ne'ilah. Sometimes they used to fast on Rosh Chodesh. They had Ne'ilah, so you still mention Ne'ilah. You still mention Rosh Chodesh. Do it Tfilas Ne'ilah. Rosh Chodesh b'Tainas. Echini Maskeh Rosh Chodesh. Where do you mention Yidav Ne'ilah, right? So where do you say Rosh Chodesh? It's either on by Doy. You see, you have to mention Rosh Chodesh, right? So you say it by Doy. You say it by Ritzei. But Vina Omer Oima Bracha Revius. You say it 4th bracha. During the middle bracha, that's what you say. You mention Rosh Chodesh. But Mamatzon B'Chol Malkam Oima Bracha Revius. I've called Bracha Revius. You always say by the Bracha Revius, by Shabbos, you always say the Askara by. You say Bracha Revius. That's the main bracha where you mention everything. So here also. You mention Bracha Revius. Even though it's Chodesh HaShabbos, you don't say Bracha Revius. It could be the shit holds you do say. So anyway, the Bracha Revius, that's where you make all the skars. So it's 3 shittas here. Either by Avoida, or by Hidor, or by Bracha Revius. That's where you mention Rosh Chodesh by Ne'ilah.